Are you wanting to be more confident in your conversations? Well, today I'm going to give you some guidance on this. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. I am pretty confident in conversations now. Not always. Sometimes some people are more challenging to talk to than others, granted. And it's no like disrespect or putting down anyone. It's just as human beings, I found, like, from what people have taught me from my own experience, that we connect a lot with other people more than, well, we connect more with some people than others, right? And that's totally fine. It's nothing. Some people do take it personally, but I wouldn't if someone didn't connect with me as much, right? Some people do, some people don't. Now, I used to be at a point where I was terrified to have like conversations. I used to be like, what's that person thinking about me? Oh my God, what if I embarrass myself? All these kind of things, right? And I also noticed, times when I wasn't so good in conversations and I didn't really have a flow. And I really started thinking about this and actually what's boosted my conversation skills over the years, right? And confidence in that. Now, I believe, and I've certainly thought this about myself, people think they're a lot worse than they are, right? We're always judging ourselves. We've always got that critic, I believe, of like, oh my God, until we do something over and over again. And then it really gets into our system, right? Often when you start something, maybe you can relate, you're like, oh my God, I'm useless at this. I'm never going to get the hang of this. And I've had that in like work and jobs and things like that. Now, if you're not practicing speaking to people that much and then you start doing it, you're always going to get that. And I made an episode recently about the fear of not being enough. And that's what stops us from starting things or continuing things. It's like, oh, I'm doing this skill. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. And it's really unconsciously to avoid the fear of not being enough, therefore not being lovable, and therefore that's life or death. It's crazy how the brain works. So a lot of people think they are worse than they are. So really, there are certain things. It's about persistence, and it's about like putting praise yourself and keep doing it, right? And deciding if it is a priority or not. If you're happy with like, I'm not very good in conversations, therefore I'm going to limit the amount of people I'm going to be able to meet and interact with in my life, that's totally up to you. But probably not if you're listening to this episode. Okay, so here's some guidance around this. The first one, practice more real conversations. No, Zooms and text messages do not count as real conversations in this instance, right? Okay, Zoom's slightly better than a text message, but we're talking about actually having a genuine conversation with someone. If you have to do a Zoom, it's a Zoom, but ideally in person, because you've got that energy. There's a different energy. There's a different, we won't go too much into the spiritual, scientific side of things, but there's a different energy when you interact with someone in person, right? So practice more real conversations, even if they are small and you're building them up at first. The second thing, start with your state. Don't try and think your way into it. Start with your state by getting yourself in a good mood. You can do that by smiling, even if you don't feel like it, by standing up, pull a Wonder Woman or Superman pose, and then go in and start conversations. Because when you get yourself in the right state, you're going to be able to feel more confident and behave more confidently as a result. The third one, before you go into conversations, focus on quality questions. Just write a few down to yourself, right? How are you? How was your weekend? Where are you from? What do you do? Very basic. Now, of course, one or two of those you might need to guide to a better quality question, right? But try and ask people quality questions that you would love to answer. Think of questions that you would love to answer. Oh, what's been your favorite holiday and why? Like, what did you love doing as a kid? Now, obviously, feed this into a conversation depending where it fits, because asking yourself, like you say, hi, I'm Jolly. What was your favorite thing to do as a kid? Right, okay. That's probably a bit random, but you can squeeze it in the conversation, right? So focus on writing down some quality questions you can ask. And then the fourth one, praise and celebrate. Every time you go out and have even a slight conversation, even if it's with a barista in a coffee shop, celebrate that, right? or even if it's someone at the checkouts. And again, what I'm saying about this is even if it's like a small conversation, right? Any human being is great to interact with. I like to think of everyone as equal. I like to talk to everyone, right? But like, even if it's like one of these brief conversations, right? With someone in whatever they're doing, whatever capacity, right? Or whatever scenario it is, praise and celebrate yourself for having conversations. And then my extra point I really want to share with you is that find yourself like-minded groups, because I find when I'm doing things like football or running, I get on with people a lot more and I feel a lot better about myself than if I was doing something I was pretending to be interested in or wasn't really interested in. So find yourself some like-minded groups where you can really practice your conversations. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.